Hello, my name is Jan Doss, and I'm a parent provider specialist here at Smart Start of Davidson County. I am going to be conducting a parent training and it's entitled Talking is Teaching, Read to Me. And I hope it will be beneficial to you parents, and I hope that from some small something I say, you can gain something from it, from this training, in some way to help your child. At the end of this training, there will be links to where you need to click on, there'll be provided links, and what those links are for is for you to click on, and you will have access to where you need to do a evaluation and quiz. And you must complete the evaluation and quiz in order for you to receive your parent certificate for completing a parent training. And so there'll also be a link where you can get, if you would like, copies of all the handouts that go along with this training. And if you would like a copy of the PowerPoint, there'll be links to that. So on this particular slide right here, there are some links to some websites that I've used that I wanted to make mention of, and that is the one called Talking is Teaching. That's a very good website where you can not just only get information about this training, but other helpful information if you've got areas you need to work with your child on. And as a parent, they have very, very good information on that website. There's also the link to Smart Start's webpage, partnershipforchildren.org. And then if you would also go on, if you're on, happen to be on Facebook, and if you would go on our Facebook page and like our Facebook page, we would appreciate it. And we put updates and information on there for parents as far as like when the NC Pre-K application is going to come out, or if any of our child care centers have openings or anything for jobs. And we just put a lot of information on there, and when we're doing an event, like the dates and time of that, and etc. So it's good to be able to stay in contact with Smart Start and keep up with what all Smart Start has to offer on our Facebook page. Also, throughout this video, not video, but parent training, I will be using a lot of resources that come out of our resource room here at Smart Start. And parents can come to the resource room and check out any of the items we have in here. In order for a parent, you have to become a member of our resource room. Membership is free. You just fill out a membership form. And then once you fill out the membership form, a parent can check out 5 items. You have the 5 items for 2 weeks, and then you return them and you can check out more items. If for whatever reason, the 5 items you've checked out, if you need them longer than 2 weeks, just like you call the library and you renew books you check out, you can call the Smart Start office and you can renew the books or the items that you've checked out from the resource room. You can have them for 1 extra week and then you return them. So with all of that being said, I'm going to start now with the parent training. It's entitled, Talking is Teaching, Read to Me. Reading to your child is valuable in countless ways. And reading provides a storehouse of knowledge, memories that last a lifetime, and valuable family bonding time. Reading helps your child develop 4 basic thinking skills: the ability to pay attention, it helps with a good memory, the ability to solve problems, and good language skills. It also helps your child with speech, words for life, ability to understand, ability to write, and eagerness to read. The single best way to develop these skills is to read out loud to your children or child. Read every day. Experts recommend that you start reading to your newborn and continue at least through 5th grade. So we're going to watch a video now. It's from Reach Out and Read.
I'm Dr. Trudy Hegner, a pediatrician at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, where we have a special program called Reach Out and Read to help children and parents discover the joy of reading together. This short video will help you pick out books and find ways to read to your infant. Let's start by picking out a book. At this age, your baby is probably putting everything into her mouth. That's one way she learns about the world around her. A sturdy board book or a soft cloth book will be safe in case she chews on it. Babies like brightly colored board books to touch and to explore. Smaller books are easier for them to hold on to with their very small hands. Infants really like pictures of things they see every day. Balls, bottles, dogs, and babies. Babies love to look at pictures of babies. Here, a mom cuddles, sings, talks, and plays while reading a book to her baby.
Babies love to play. Babies love to shout.
It's okay if your baby's putting the book in her mouth or dropping it on the floor. Even though your baby may only coo, babble, or say ma, or ba, or da, that is your baby's way of talking.
I know it.
Point and name things in the book while reading to your baby.
Babies love to laugh.
Babies respond to hearing their own name. In this scene, the mom uses the book to play games with her baby, such as peekaboo or pat-a-cake, while saying her baby's name. At this stage, it's all about making reading fun. You'll get a new book to Reach Out and Read at every well child checkup until your child is 5 years old. Feel free to remind your pediatrician or nurse practitioner about your Reach Out and Read book. And remember, you can read wherever you are, at the bus stop, park, at the library, even in the waiting room before a doctor's appointment. Have fun.
And so, Smart Start at Davidson County, we are also a part of Reach Out and Read, and we have teamed up with Thomasville Pediatrics. So if your child goes to that doctor's office and sees those pediatricians in there, anytime your child goes for a well baby checkup or visit, they should receive a free book, Compliments of Smart Start. So if you haven't received one, you might want to ask for your child's free book at their well visit. Infants will not understand what you read, but it's important you read to them anyway. By about 6 months of age, an infant shows excitement with widened eyes and leg and arm movements. Reading and talking to children exposes them to language and helps them learn. When babies hear you say words over and over again, it begins to help them speak and understand what you are saying. The more conversations that your baby and your children hear, the parts of the brain that handle and develop language will grow and develop. It's very important that you point to books and pictures and use words to describe what you see in the book and what the child sees when you're reading to them. They love to see pictures of babies or familiar objects. And if it's an infant, like they addressed in the video we just watched, use sturdy, heavy board books with clear, cheerful pictures. How much time should you read aloud a day? And a half an hour every day is a good amount of time. Break up that time into short sessions for infants and very young children so they don't become bored with reading and they lose focus and you lose their interest. Read aloud at breakfast time, nap time, and bedtime. It helps them to relax. Cuddle while you read. Children feel loved when you read to them. Be expressive and make the stories sound fun. Stick to simple stories at first and catchy rhymes. Reading opens up many possibilities to toddlers. It teaches them all about their world. Reading also offers some quiet time for an active toddler. Exploring books and print together is fun for any child at any age, both because he likes to learn new words, because he loves being close to you. So with that being said, I want to introduce what's called environmental print. And that is the first stage and step in reading, is environmental print. So this is one way of, this is just a cookie box, but it is an environmental print. If your child can they won't only recognize that cookie, but you can start sounding out the word on the cookie box and the letters that build the word, and then your child will eventually be able to look at that and tell you what it is. And it would just be as simple as a water bottle. That's environmental print. Okay, any kind of items, all children are familiar with goldfish, and that's called environmental print reading. And these Cheez-It crackers and these alphabet cookies. And that's the first step in reading, is them recognizing some of the things they're familiar with, like McDonald's. That's the first stage in reading, is environmental print. And then we also have these newspapers where they could look at the newspapers and they can pick out letters and words. And that is good environmental print reading. A menu at a restaurant. Any of that kind of stuff. Reading aloud together every day makes the biggest difference in helping him become a reader and a writer. 6 to 9 month old babies will copy adults. They may turn more than one page at a time in a book. By age 1, they are better able to control their hands and can turn single pages. Cuddle up with your child and enter the world of a story. Books are brain boosters. The more your child is read to from the very start, the more his brain will grow and a language will develop. And then the last thing is visit the library. Now, I know some of our libraries, they're closed right now because of this pandemic we're in, but once they get opened, it would be a good time for you to take your child and visit the library. They have the libraries here in Davidson County, they have really nice children's areas, and then they also have story hour, and that would be a good time to go visit. Right now, some of the libraries are doing virtual reading, where you can, they are reading books and stories and doing activities via Zoom through, virtual reading. And so that would be something you would interest your child in. So here's a few strategies. So when you're reading and having story time, here's a few strategies to consider. Make connections. Tie the story to your family's experience. Oh, look, the boy in the picture has a balloon. Remember when you and your sister got balloons at the county fair? Bring the story to life. Use different voices for each character. Act out scenes with body movements or sound effects. You can simplify the reading in any way that feels right, such as talking more slowly. Get to know books. Help your child explore the difference between the front and the back covers of a book. So it would just be pointing, and show them the front of the book and what the back of the book looks like. Help them to tell whether a book is upside down, and point out how you read the story from left to right with your pointer finger. So that's important to help children be able to do that. And then it says book break. Again, visit the library often. Most libraries have books, even for the littlest readers. They might offer a weekly story or singing time for kids, like story hour, like I made mention of. Read everything around you. Print is everywhere, and not just in books. Together, notice and read signs, cereal boxes, letters that come in the mail, menus, ads on sides of buses, and so on. And that's where I will emphasize again that, reading environmental print. That's where that comes in, like as you're going down the road, looking at stuff or anything like that. That is the first step to reading, is recognizing environmental print, and like on a cereal box, or like I said, menus, mail you get in the mail, a newspaper, a restaurant, a menu, anything like that. Let your child see you reading. You are your child's role model. So let her see that you enjoy reading books, magazines, and newspapers, and other print materials. This will motivate her to read. So make the most of reading. Introduce the book. When you talk about the book before you read it, your child becomes more excited to hear about the story. So you'll say, like, let's look at the front cover and ask, what do you think that this book is going to be about? Just by them looking and observing the front cover of the book. While reading, look for different opportunities to make the words and pictures exciting and come to life. Try to be expressive with your voice, feelings, and body movements. You can also ask, what is happening on this page? Let the child chime in with the last word of a familiar line, like the cat in the hat. Work in short and simple definitions of new words as you read so that your child can learn new vocabulary. Encourage him to say the new words out loud too. Also allow your child to help turn the pages in the book. After reading, once you finish reading a book, it's the perfect time to talk about the story and let your child share what they remember. Ask questions that encourage your child to think about why certain characters did something or felt a certain way. Let's go back to this page where Peter looked mad. Why do you think he was mad? What did he decide to do? Encourage your child to share his favorite parts of the story. He can either talk about them or act them out. You might relate the story back to your child. Ask, have you ever felt that way as the way the bunny felt? And then say, when? When did you feel that way? So here's some fun ways, fun games to play with your child that will help with reading. From trash to treasure. Instead of throwing away all of your junk mail, pick out the ones with interesting pictures and words to look at with your child. For an example, you can explore all different types of tools in a hardware store catalog. Surprise notes. Write a short and sweet note or make a simple drawing like a heart or a happy face and put it in your child's backpack or the lunchbox each day. Our very own recording. Use your computer or your smartphone and create a recording of a family member reading a story. This way, your child can enjoy listening to your voice anytime and follow along. I Spy Letters. Play a game of I Spy Letters by looking for letters and words around you. And so now we're going to watch another video.
With Tyto, clinicians can remotely diagnose and treat many of the most common conditions. The Tyto device.
Hello, I'm Christine French-Cully, Editor-in-Chief of Highlights for Children, and today I'd like to talk to you about the difference between reading to a baby and reading to a toddler. Reading time is bonding time for both groups, and they both get the same brain-boosting power from reading aloud. But there are some differences to note, so let's dive in. Babies up to 1 year old like looking at faces of people or familiar objects like balls and bottles, and especially photos of other babies. Somewhere between 4 and 6 months, your baby will start to grab and try to hold books in an effort to mouth and chew them. By 12 months, he or she will be turning pages with some help from you. Pat or start to point to objects on a page and repeat your sounds. When reading aloud, don't worry about following the text exactly. Stop once in a while and ask questions or make comments. Your child might not be able to respond yet, but this lays the groundwork for doing so later on. Sing nursery rhymes to your baby. Make funny animal sounds or bounce your baby on your knee. Anything that shows that reading is fun. Babies love and learn from repetition, so don't be afraid of reading the same story over and over. Toddlers, children ages 1 to 2 years old, prefer to look at pictures of children doing familiar things, like sleeping or playing. They like goodnight stories for bedtime, hello and goodbye themes, books with simple stories, rhymes, or predictable text, because they're honing their memory skills. Being a toddler is all about action, so you may have more success if you keep reading time short, simple, and do it often. A baby is enamored just by the sound of your voice, but toddlers want more. So to keep toddlers engaged, point your finger to the words as you read them from left to right. Help the story come alive by creating voices for each character. Ask questions about the story and let your toddler ask you questions too. Don't worry if they act out stories or just skip, romp, or tumble as you read to them. They may be moving, but they are also listening. With these tips, you'll be able to engage your baby or toddler and have them fall in love with reading.
That was just a video I wanted you to watch just to encourage you of the importance of reading, not just to a toddler, but the importance of reading to babies as well. And so I am going to try to do a reading story. It's entitled The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And I'm going to try to do, along with this, it's a flannel board story. But before I get into that, I just wanted to show you a couple of things This is a really good resource the Smart Start Office has. It's entitled Reading Right from the Start, What Parents Can Do in the First 5 Years, the importance, of reading. And we have this available. It's a good book. If you're interested in it, you can stop by the office when our office opens and can pick this handout out and be able to have it to take home with you. And we have a lot of books. And you can see behind me this library of books here. And then these are just some simple ones with I picked out from our lending library with nice pictures in it. And this is a rhyming book, 5 Little Monkeys reading in the bed, jumping on the bed. So that's, all children are familiar with that. Then we have this kit here for 12 to 24 months that encourages reading. And it's a first word book. And then see, show, and say. So they point to items in the books, and then you help them with that. So our resource room is just full of lots of resources for parents. And then also, if you haven't already, you can sign your child up for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And that link is also here in this presentation. And they get 1 free book a month from birth to age 5. So that would amount to your child, if you enroll them at birth up until they turn 5 years old, they would get 60 free books. And that's a lot of books. And then your child would be excited every time, you go to the mailbox to check it to see if they've gotten a new book. All right, so I need to pause that for just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to get started with reading, and I'm going to read The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. And at the same time I'm doing this, I'm going to try to do along with it the flannel board story to it, to show you that these are items that we have here in the resource room, and you can check out the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and then we also have the flannel story that goes along with it. That way, when you're reading the story to your child, they can participate and help you as you're reading it, put the items on the flannel board. And then to further encourage this and reiterate this story, we also have The Very Hungry Caterpillar. It's a big floor puzzle where your child can also help, and you can help your child with putting the puzzle together that went along with the story that they read. And the flannel board is where they helped you act out and retell the story. It's just making learning fun, or reading fun, excuse me. The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. Now, I don't know if they're going to stick. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up, and pop, out of the egg came a tiny, very hungry caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears, but he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums, but he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries, but he was still hungry. On Friday, he ate through 5 oranges, but he was still hungry. On Saturday, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream cone, 1 pickle, 1 slice of Swiss cheese, 1 slice of salami, 1 lollipop, 1 piece of cherry pie, 1 sausage, 1 cupcake, and 1 slice of watermelon. Oh, and that night, he had a stomach ache. The next day was Sunday again, and the caterpillar ate through 1 nice green leaf. And after that, oh, he felt so much better. Now he wasn't hungry anymore, and he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was a big, fat caterpillar. He built a small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside for more than 2 weeks. Then he nibbled a hole, a tiny little hole in the cocoon, and he pushed his way out. And he was a beautiful butterfly. The end.